Hello there, this is Cristian down here in Santiago, Chile, and I'm doing two for one. I'm starting to do one of those threads responses to this one that it was started by Ron Vinyl Sanctuary a couple of days ago, I think like last week. He had two threads out there. One, he wants us to show some red albums with a red title, red songs, red cover, red anything, and then show bands that find their sound in a certain album, in a certain release. So I'm going to do both of them in one video, so you don't waste too much time. First of all, the red ones. Here it is, an album with a lot of red. This is Queen's first album, so self-titled Queen, pretty red. Then a band with red in the name of the band. This is a Spanish band. Of course, I've shown this a couple of times. It's Barón Rojo, or the Red Baron. There it is. There it is also the band logo and the most famous album, Volumen Brutal, or Brutal Volume. This is also in with red, and it's sang in English. Then I have a band with a record with a band with the logo in red, the title in red, and some kind of red. Metallica, Kill 'Em All, here it is, red, and lots of red. So it is Metallica, Kill 'Em All. Now, some CDs. My only Beatle-related music I have on CD, it's of course number one with all the singles, Pretty Red. I think the inside it's also red. There it is. Also a red one, a really good one, the second release from this new wave of traditional heavy metal, a band from the early 80s. It's Raven and Wiped Out, great album. There it is, lots of red. Now, a band with a song with the red in the title, from Iron Maiden, it's Pretty Black, but the song, of course, is the red and the black. So there it is, some red titles. And Ron once I was wondering if there's a red tape, red cassette, and I do have one. Here it is. It's red. It's a demo from an EP, a demo from the band Midnight Dice. There it is, pretty cool one, red one. Oh, and I forgot to pick up another one. Yes, here it is, another cassette with lots of red. The Cult, with their most famous one, Sonic Temple. So there it is, for the red part of the thread. And also, he wants us to show bands that found their sound lately on the discography. For some of us, for not so good, this band established their sound with this album. It's a major departure from the band, from the sound that I think we all metalheads like very much, and it's the fourth album, and it's unfortunately it's Def Leppard's Hysteria. A major change of sound, very more produced, with lots of hours in the studio, with lots of overdubs, with lots of layers of vocals and guitars and everything, with huge production by Robert John Mutt Lynch, and a huge departure from their first and second album. So unfortunately, Def Leppard kind of found their sound with this album, Hysteria, from 1987. Coincidentally, also from 1987, Whitesnake. Whitesnake, it was kind of hinted on in the 1984 Slide It In album, but I think with this album, the band found the sound, or at least the commercial success that David Crowder was wanting to achieve with his band, and the sound completely changed from the early ones. It was more blues-oriented sound. This is more LA sound, American sound, sound of the 80s that was coming out from Los Angeles. Lots of hair metal bands, glam bands were doing this sound, and Whitesnake were quickly jumping on that wagon and trying to grab and achieve all the success that David Crowder was wanting from his band. So there it is, 1987, Whitesnake. Next, a band that was really criticized with their debut. They were categorized as a clone from the grunge scene. They were mostly named as clone of Pearl Jam, and it's Stone Temple Pilots. This is their third release. It's tiny music and songs from the Vatican Gift Shop. I think on this album they found finally their sound, a little bit more pop, but with big hooks, with cool guitar work from Robert DeLeo, the brothers DeLeo, one on bass guitar, another one on guitar, and Scott Weiland still singing as good as on the first 3 or 4 albums before he was kicked out of the band. But on this one, I think they really found their sound. They move away from the first one, that it was too much closer to Pearl Jam. But on this one, this is a really good one. If you like a little bit more poppy sound of those alternative bands from the 90s, you should check Tiny Music from Stone Temple Pilots. Next one. Next one is the Black Crowes. I think on this album, this artwork, Amorica is this album. I think they found I don't know if they found their sound, or they move away from the first one, and the second one that was a more southern rock type of bands, like the Allman Brothers, like Blackfoot, and all those type of bands, and like Lynyrd Skynyrd. And they, from this one and forward, they move and they start sounding more like I don't know, like hippie, like moving away from that sound and start incorporating a little bit more of soul music to the sound, and they completely change from Check Your Moneymaker. So if you like to check some later Black Crowes, maybe you can check this one. This is Amorica. Sorry about the article. And then finally, two cassettes. This is almost the last one that they put out as a band together, and it's early 90s. Yes, I think this is 91, and it's Heartbreak Station by Cinderella. The first 2 albums, they were very glam type of music, very rock, very hard rock, but it was a kind of contradiction, because the sound of the gritty sound of the voice of Tom Kiefer, the graspy sound of his voice wasn't very much alike with the type of music that they were putting on the first album, and especially with the look they had on Long Cold Winter and Night Song. But on this one, they made a huge departure from that type of sound, and they were more bluesy, more suitable with the type of vocals that Tom Kiefer had when they were all as a band. So there it is, Cinderella and Heartbreak Station. And finally, the last one. This is the second album from this band. Kind of a departure from the more I don't know, glamish type of hair metal, but not as much. On this one, they were heavier, harder, more with a more metallic edge to the sound, with strong voices from Sebastian Bach, and of course I'm talking about Skid Row and Slave to the Grind. From this one, they never did a ballad like I Remember You Again. I know they redid it, a version with a singer that replaced Sebastian, Johnny Solinger. I Remember You too, but much heavier, much with more guitars than on the debut. But I think on this one they put a pedal to the metal, to the sound. They tried to move away from the sound that was coming from Los Angeles, and especially from the look, on the look of all those bands that it was maybe too glam for them. So there it is, Skid Row and Slave to the Grind. So that's it. Those are my two thread responses to Ron. I will try to leave a link below to those threads if you want to jump in and do your own responses. Once again, this is Christian saying goodbye down here in Santiago. Till next time, see ya.